Yo, we're live.
Hey, hello.
What's up,
We're back.
everybody? Hey, we're back. A little bit of a hiatus there, but we are here and we are doing JavaScript Jam Live. No, we're not. Wrong.
Scott
We're
and Anthony's
doing
web dev adventure.
Scott and Anthony's web dev adventure. Yes, JavaScript Jam Live was yesterday though, and that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, what's
All
going
right.
on with JavaScript Jam Live?
Yeah, man.
Let's talk about Magnolia real quick.
Magnolia. That was good. Talking about events, talking about how organizers are hustling and trying to make a difference in the developer community, and talked about front end stuff, talked about testing front end everything really, but that was pretty fun. Yeah, check it out. Go to our handle there, JavaScript Jam, on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it.
It's been so long. Twitter has a new name.
I know. I'm like, Twitter, X marks the spot. So today we're going to be diving a little bit more into this little adventure we started a few months ago, where we're taking the javascriptjam.com site and we're creating a headless site using Astro. And we're using right now currently Ghost, and we're going to be using the APIs for that. So connecting everything up. Anthony's done some cool stuff, and we're about to dig into it a little bit and see where the future lies.
Yeah. So I had wanted to get back into this project because I knew it was going to be really fun once we started like actually having kind of a site to work with. So I just did a little bit of the heavy lifting and created kind of like the base skeleton. I even did some stuff like created us a JavaScript Jam GitHub account. And because I didn't want this just hosted on mine, I wanted to make sure that, this was somewhere that was more obviously JavaScript Jams. People don't have to like go to AJC Web Dev to find it. And then I was also like, well, why don't we put it on like Edgio's GitHub? And then I'm like, well, then we have to talk to Edgio's
Red tape
IT person to get me permissions. And anytime I want to add something to the repo, you just talk to them to add permissions.
Yeah,
so
that's like, true.
We already have all of our own.
Not as efficient.
Yeah, for the community team in general.
That's true.
So it just kind of made sense. Like we have our own LinkedIn, we have our that we're pretty autonomous with, which I think is like really important. And one of the things that helps us be really agile.
Yep.
Because you got to be agile.
You do.
Be unagile.
Unagile.
What's the opposite of agile?
I don't know. Clunky. You can't be clunky. Yes, agile for sure.
Yeah. And then we got some of it already up on Edgio, and I went a little nuts and even bought us a domain.
I know, I saw that.
Who doesn't want
instead of javascriptjam.com, it is
jsjam.io.
jsjam.io.
I mean, that's pretty clean, right?
Oh, totally, it's clean. Yeah, the shorter the better, folks. Come on.
Yeah, it's shorter and easy to remember. And I was like, you see IO a lot, especially in the tech community.
Totally.
I wanted one that was going to be 7 letters max. So it was either that or jsjam.gg. And I've heard some weird stuff about GG from Theo. Apparently they're like, let's see, it's some random company. The Bailiwick of Guernsey is a self-governing British Crown dependency off the coast of Normandy. This is who owns .gg.
Oh, so you might be like even more heavily weighed upon for things like, I can't think of what it's called now. My brain, jeez. What's that called? Anyway,
misinformation.
No, yeah, that too.
I'm not afraid of our domain, anything weird happening.
No, I mean, we're so small. Like,
and it's more so like if it's a small country, it's like they could just have like downtime,
So yeah, totally.
Things like that. And then there was Jason, he had a .af domain, which apparently is owned by the Afghanistan government, which, depending on who's in charge at any given point in
Like
time,
right now,
might mean the Taliban. So
Right.
that was kind of an issue.
Yeah.
And so I became like, once I saw those two things, I was like, oh, I should actually look at where all these random 2-letter domains are that I've been buying.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. So it seems like, let's see, what is .io? I'm not sure what this one is, but I was like, enough big
Israeli
companies have this that I'm not too scared about it.
Yeah.
But let's see. It's normally assigned to the British Indian Ocean Territory.
IO. Indian Ocean. Got it.
It's a it's operated commercially by Affilius, a domain name registry subsidiary of Ethos Capital, which is an American private equity investment firm founded in Boston.
There you go.
That's pretty normal.
Feeds back to Boston.
Not weird.
Boston.
He's best known for
Not weird.
This is funny. He's best known for attempting and failing to gain control of the .org internet domain. So Ethos Capital is like the Bond villain of TDLs, apparently.
Oh my goodness, the things you learned. I mean, wow.
The internet is a fascinating, strange.
Yes. Did you see the tweet I just put up? I loved your history quote the other day when we were on the podcast with Marco with yeah,
about how studying the past can give you make you predict the future.
Yeah, I clipped it in there because it reminded me of Tony Robbins, because I've heard him always say, like, success leaves clues, right? Study them and model it and make it better, right? That's kind of what he says.
I can feel my head getting larger.
I compared you to Tony Robbins.
Yeah, because that works on two levels. One, who doesn't want to be compared to Tony Robbins? Like, let's just face Tony Robbins. But two, his head is massive. Like, the biggest head I've ever seen.
His hands are massive. I've met him in person because he does Funnel Hacking Live all the time with ClickFunnels, and I've been to him. And so I met him in person, and I shook his hand, and my hand like was engulfed inside of his hand, like like his fingers are like bananas. If you're listening, Tony, you already know this.
That's funny. He was one of those dudes. I could never tell if he was like a grifter or like a generally inspiring dude.
Oh, he's super genuine.
It can be very hard to tell, like, superficially, people like that. And if you just kind of see him mixed in with all the other self-help gurus, it's like, well. But and then I kept hearing more and more people like you, like people who I know and trust, who are like, no, Tony Robbins is great. He's like super actually inspiring dude. And I'm like, okay,
totally. Yeah, and he doesn't judge people, man. He's, at least from what I've seen and understood about him and heard him say and stuff.
We'll make more money as a self-help person if you don't judge people.
Yeah. I just think it's easy for people to do. So yeah. Anyway.
Totally. It looks like we actually have some people.
Yeah. On your side of things.
Yeah, look at my stream manager.
They on Twitch. What's up, folks, on Anthony's Twitcheroo?
Never use this.
Did you see Theo's thing? Theo's like, I still can't believe I make more money on Twitter than Twitch. It wasn't much more, but he did. It was surprising.
Interesting. How much did you make from Twitter, did it say? It
was a little over $1,000, and Twitch was just right over $1,000. So it was like pretty close to the same.
But that's insane for someone as watched as him and
on
has
Twitch.
As many people subbing as him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if that was like the sub money. I don't know if that was just like how does Twitch pay out other things too, right? Like ads.
Well, yeah, I guess it depends. Like the tweet would be a little misleading if he wasn't talking about like the subtotal of his
I have no
money,
idea.
I would think.
I have no idea. Anyway,
moving
forward.
Let me get my screen. Let's hope this works. Okay. Let me close that. Let me do that.
Do that, do this, like this and like that, and like this and like that and like this and like that and
Is that Tribe Called Quest?
I don't remember.
It's like this and like that and like this.
There you go. That's all you gotta
That's
do.
right.
Look it up.
That's
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Same
Like
here.
this and like that, and
Yeah, it's a good one. Anyway,
Dr. Dre.
so if people want to
Add to
check
stream.
this out, we have add me to the
Let's
stream.
plus that up, bro.
So here is our sweet GitHub, and here's our GitHub account.
Command
JS Jam. By the way, what is your GitHub handle?
at Tnado, TNADO.
TNADO?
I think, yeah. Is it OE?
What?
Yep, there it is.
What?
Yeah, bro. There's nothing on there. Don't look at it. Jeez,
Well, there
13 contributions in the last year.
I'm
Holy
inviting
cow.
my first member.
It should. You can see, like, when I like pick it up, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this, and I'm like, oh, nope. I hit a
You're an
roadblock.
owner, my friend.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
This is crazy. Look at that.
And then gotta get Ishan in here too.
I was gonna make Tnado my like dev handle for everything, but I've done it on a few things.
That's a good one.
I like
you get
tornadoes.
Tnado.dev.
Probably. Nobody ever has it. Everywhere I searched, nobody has Tnado. Like, for real.
See. Tnado.io. Look at that. Tnado.gg.
.dev. It's there too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one to get for sure.
I'm telling you. See, now it's live. Everybody's gonna buy up my freaking domain.
That'll be fine. That'll be $50.
I ain't paying you anything, so you can keep it. Good job wasting your money.
Yeah. And there's probably no one else we should add right now as a member. Those are good.
Let's just add Tony Robbins. So
Tony Robbins
no, he knows nothing about coding, I'm sure.
You never know. Okay, and this is right now kind of like our rough Astro outline. We've got a pages folder with some Astro components, got a layout, site meta, and then some basic components. Why don't I get this going? Oh, actually, I did some things I gotta push up real quick last night. Didn't want to do that.
Did you see Clark's socks they have at React Rally?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they're session cookie socks, and so there's like cookies and hearts and stars and interesting designs on them in the Clark C. And I I retweeted with a quote, and I said, my new diet plan. If a cookie has more than one session, I don't eat it.
That was a good one.
Thank you, my friend, homie GPT.
I wrote that joke for you.
Oh yeah, totally. It was a good one.
Very, very nice. Okay, and then we also have now the Astro, or not the Astro, the Edgeo CLI, Edgeo core package.
Yep.
Stuff like that. Should probably put in instructions deploy step here. That's important.
Who needs that?
Okay, so for local development, you could do it with all the good stuff. You can go with PM.
Oh, that was weird.
What?
Everything was spinning and I couldn't see anything, or you or me.
Oh no.
Yeah. By the way, they are freaking drilling in the ground by my house, putting fiber in, so they might like hit my internet line.
They might just destroy the internet.
Yes. FYI.
Well, it seems fine right now to me.
Good.
Well, I can't see you, so. Okay, and then it'll be on a localhost 3000.
Not 55.
Yeah, no, single digit ports I think are more likely to hit things.
Inside joke, y'all.
Yeah, so as you can tell, we have a little more things here than we did last time, and it's a little closer to looking like the actual site right now.
So what did we do here, Anthony?
So what we did is we built this Astro project. So let's start here.
Yes.
With our home page. And some of the styling is in there, not all of it yet. So that's why some of it's still a little wonky. It's like running off the page here.
What are you using for styling?
CSS, baby.
Okay, no Tailwind.
No, not yet. And
right.
we may at some point. The way it's set up right now,
we wouldn't be able to achieve the exact same. Well, it would. Yeah,
well,
it would take
see,
more
we kind of
prowess.
could, and actually, they're doing something interesting here, which is that they actually wrote their own utility. So we see this right now. This is just like what Tailwind is doing. They write some CSS for you, and then set that CSS to very short little things that represent it. So margin bottom to 0. Like I'm pretty sure in Tailwind, it literally is empty 0. Is what you would see.
Got it.
So some of this would actually could transfer over pretty cleanly. The reason why I'm doing it like this is because the way I built this is I literally
copied
went to JavaScript Jam, popped open this, looked at the HTML, rewrote the HTML with the classes, and then just went and downloaded
the CSS,
this entire styles.
And so then
I just copied
it worked because it had all the classes in the HTML already. Yeah.
So what it did is it basically just spit out, the HTML CSS that is generated by Ghost. Right. And then I just took that and plopped it into Astro. This is like a good example of like why Astro is so sweet and why being able to work with HTML and CSS is so sweet, but also being able to slot in your React stuff whenever you want. Because now we're in a good place to start building in the Astro things, which gives us the ability to do things like this.
More dynamic.
This is like the base of the styling. So what we do here is we have a page, which is an HTML page, and then we have a head component that allows us to configure all the canonical URL, title, meta description, OG image, and date published.
And you import this on every page, basically.
Yes. Oh, for each page you import. So this is called base.astro, and then you can import it and name it kind of whatever you want.
Import page layout. Okay.
Page layout. I'm actually just going to rename this to page because it's already in the layouts folder.
Sure.
So
instead of base,
most sense.
But I mean, base makes sense though too. I mean, it's like this is the starting point, right? Like for your page. But
yeah,
but that's cool. All right.
And then real quick, just fix what I just broke right there.
Tell her. Oh, got it. Yeah. So wherever base is, that's what I was wondering too. Like wherever base is, you're gonna have to replace that with.
So VS Code will technically do it for you, but I never let it because I never trusted.
Because you say command find and then you say like replace with, right?
Yeah, you can do that also. Yeah, the only reason I'm doing it by hand right now is just because there's so few of them.
Yep. So you searched the entire thing for layouts / and then just looked for anything that said base to replace it with it.
Yeah, and there's only one layouts page, so there would be nothing else with layouts / right now to worry about. And then this is the TS config. This is basically what makes the page structure make sense. So we have components, layouts, utils, stores, which we may or may not need. That's for state in between components, and then data. And so at data maps to data.index.ts, and this is like the type for our page, basically. So it knows that when we give it a canonical URL, it needs to be a string, and so on. There's some of these types we can actually make a little more sophisticated, the date ones mostly. But for now, we just want to make sure that it's like getting text. And then once the text arrives on the page, you have to format it as a date. And then the site config is how you can set things like the URL, title, description. So if we look back here and we check out like what's going on, we'll see we have a head component. Let me make this bigger.
I can't see that, but I believe you.
And then, so we see here we have title, which is home, circle JavaScript Jam by Edgio. So this is JavaScript Jam by Edgio. This is the site config. And then that's being combined with this. And then it comes out like, so somewhere they're being merged with each other. Where is that happening? Here we go. Oh yeah, so the base head is what is so there's a kind of like a layout within a layout.
Yep.
So the base head is here, and then this is where it takes the title of the page and then combines it with the title of the site. So it says home.javascriptjam.edgio. If we go to about, we'll see it has about.javascriptjam by Edgio. So that's because eventually the base head ends up looking like this. And this is where I put things like the style sheets. And so right now it's being linked here, which is just off of javascriptjam.com/assets. So I have this in the JavaScript Jam public folder, but this is like, I'm not sure if that's even being referenced actually, because we have also the style sheet here. So actually, let's try that. So let's see if we take this off, if we lose our styles.
Yeah. Wow.
And then if we take this off, then we lose our styles.
Oh yeah.
Put this back, we have our styles back.
Okay, so I'm trying to catch up here. So basehead.astro, that is where essentially all the different layouts are coming together.
So there's only one layout, and the layout has a head component. Is the way you should think about it.
Okay.
So this head component is what allows you to customize each page. And specifically, it's like, okay, well, what is this base head? And so it's not just these 5 things. It does have those 5 things here, and these are Astro props. So this component expects you to pass in data for each of these 5. And that's why on each of these pages, I have this meta equals, and these are the props we're passing in to the page layout. So you see here we have prop title composability, prop title home, and canonical. So what I'm not including here is I'm not including a date published. I'm not including an OG image. I'm not including a description. Yes, that's what this should. We definitely want to give them all a description. And then we probably don't need to give them an OG image because we can give them a default OG image, which is what's happening. Let's see. We might not have a default one set yet. So anyway, so there's fallbacks for some of these. Like there's fallbacks for the OG image if nothing is provided, and there should be a fallback for the date published if nothing is provided. And then the layout itself also has a couple more, it has this nav bar. So each
Yep.
page has a nav bar,
Got
and
it.
each page will have this footer. So
Right.
this is the nav bar,
Yep.
and then that's the footer.
Yep.
And then so then you have your base head that needs props inputted. You have your
Right.
nav bar and footer, which basically just they're static, they don't change.
Got it.
And then this is the page. So the
Right.
page comes in through the slot, and then
Okay.
each slot basically is whatever is wrapped inside the page layout.
Oh, okay.
So I've actually got too many mains right now. I've got some of them have main wrapped in main, some of them have just a div. So let's see, do they have the same styling? Okay, so they have different main styling. So you see here, this is main content post.
Yeah.
This is main content post, no image. So there's a couple like weird things in the CSS that I think it's just because of how each of our JavaScript jam pages look like a little bit different, have like slightly different headers,
Mm-hmm.
But that stuff's not too particularly important right now. I just wanted to like get most of the markup there, and then kind of enough CSS so it like looks recognizable.
Looks like something. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll probably dive back into the CSS to clean it up later. But right now, let's see. Oh, there's one more. Let's see. Okay. No, wait, hold on. Let's see. This is giving me guff. I think it might be. So one thing that is important to know is we have types. And she knows we have .ts and TypeScript config. So sometimes you get type errors just because you haven't run pm sync. Other times, though, it's because there's actually a type error. So it's one of the things that frustrates me about TypeScript is that I can't always be sure whether the error I'm getting is a real type error or not. Okay, so it still is. Let's see. Okay, I think that's because this thing is not fully the same as this. Okay, I'll figure that out later. Anyway, let's look at, so right now if you go to jsjam.io, you'll see this Edgeo long permalink.
Yep.
And this is the dashboard. So we've never shown the Edgeo dashboard before, I don't think.
No.
And this is the new
dashboard.
one. We had an old one, which I understood. This one I'm still figuring out. But
okay.
It's the thing that's interesting with Edgeo is that a lot of it actually goes through the CLI more so than, because it's not linked to. Okay, so now it is. Okay, so the thing that I'm struggling with is figuring out how to get these linked to a GitHub, and that's why I think I need to give that feedback to like Raise or Isham, because it is connected to the GitHub, but it was only able to figure that out because I had a commit hash that has the stuff in it. It's not like Netlify or Vercel where it's like sync your Git repo, click a button, your Git repo is now synced, hit the deploy button. I had to deploy it from the CLI, so I had to create the GitHub account, create the GitHub repo, clone that down, build it out, then use the CLI to deploy it. And so if I deploy it before creating a GitHub account, then it's just a free floating project connected to code on my computer. And then it has no reference whatsoever to a GitHub.
Right.
So that's kind of like the biggest gotcha I've noticed so far, and something that we might want to let the team know that could be made a little smoother. But the Edgeo commands, so we have Edgeo. Just do this, see what happens. So we see how I'm logged in as acampolo, edg.io. It's a private space, has a property, and then branches main. There's environments, so you have a dev environment, stuff like that. We'll probably want that to be set up at some point, and then I can get deploy URLs for things that I'm working on. And then it will build it. So we see all our pages here built. We have a site map. And then, yeah, so that is deploying. And then there will be a way to eventually, you can just add your host name here to get the DNS to work. Right now, though, what I'm doing is I just went in. So I bought the domain on Namecheap. Where do you buy your domains, by the way?
Dude, I bought them through AWS for a while. Before that, it was GoDaddy, like 2000, late 2000s, early 2000s. I was in GoDaddy. And then I switched it up to AWS because I was using AWS for some things a long time ago. So I was on like Route 54 or whatever, using all that. And then lately I was like, you know what? It's actually, I mean, it's not too bad. It's like $1.50 for all the stuff I have per month or something like that.
Can you take my screen off for a second?
Yeah. If I can. Hold on. There we go. And remove. Okay. And then
yeah, I'm in my personal account right now.
Yeah.
So you were on GoDaddy and then AWS.
Yeah, and I still have some stuff on AWS, and then I was going to transfer it all to, guess what? Google Domains. And then they literally, like, a couple months later were like, we're selling this off to
Yeah, I'm so glad I never bought a Google domain.
Yeah, I bought one. Remember that last one I bought for the dev tool thing, the whole DevRel dev tool thing? Yeah, that was through Google. That was through Google Domains, if I'm not mistaken. It was yeah, I don't even know anymore.
Let's see. Almost there. Text verification.
Here we go. Yeah, I have this wonderful email saying your Squarespace announces purchase of domain. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Delevate. Yeah, I've tried so many of them. I've used Namecheap, Name.com.
I used to use SiteGround too at one point. Like I had that for hosting and stuff.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Delevate.io.
You can put me back. Actually, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now you can put me back.
Okay. Developer, elevate your DevRel, elevate and delegate your tasks for.
Of course. All right, am I back on?
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Okay, so JavaScriptJam.com. So we see here, this is deployment 1, and this is not going to work, but what is going to work is this permalink. So this is the build, and there's a permalink and there's a URL. What I can't figure out right now is why the permalink works, but not the URL. So that's something we're going to have to figure out. Interesting. This is not correct. Huh. So we lost the styling along the way. Okay. So I know why. Because right now it's trying to just point to
the public
style.css, which is not there. Okay. So I'm going to, so this is why it's nice to have a CSS thing that is basically just literally a URL that just hits the URL. It's like, here's the data.
Right.
So let's do that and redeploy. So we see here we have got, this is kind of like the normal stuff you would see for other, type deployment stuff. You have environments. It'll tell you where it was deployed. Vix, you can also deploy it from the dashboard itself.
Right.
And then you got logs here. So this is our deploy log. And then routes. I think actually, do I even have? Okay. So I don't even have a routes file at all. So this is an Edgeo thing. So with Edgeo, you have what's called a routes.ts or routes.js file. And that is what kind of does your routing for you. But right now we don't have to do that, I think, because
Well, you have
we're
a
using...
routes.ts. It's down there.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, down the
Oh, I
bottom.
do have one. Okay. So this is, yes, this is auto-generated by the CLI. And it was able to detect that I had Astro. So it basically just does this. So we have something called Astro routes. Curious if I can find box on this. Let's see. We have a couple guides here. So this is the getting started guide for Astro. It'll walk you through installing the CLI, creating your project. This will initialize your Edgeo configuration. This is where it does things like create a route file and a config file. So there's that. And then there will be the ability to do server-side rendering. Whether we'll need to do that or not, I think it's kind of still up in the air. And then you can do, let's do Edgeo run. So Edgeo run will basically like run Edgeo locally, so you can test to see that whatever you're about to deploy is going to work. So if I had done that, I probably
then you would have
been
known.
Let's see.
That
Let's
the
find
styling
out.
is broken.
Let's see. So, yeah, looks like locally it does work. Or style CSS. Styles. So for some reason, when it's deploying, it's not doing the right thing with public. And that's probably something to do with the routing file, I would guess. I know also Astro does this thing where you can have asset. So let's try. Okay, so that or Astro assets. Oh, here we go. Yep. So this is for this is for the image component. We recommend storing all images to be optimized in the SRC assets folder. So this actually will be useful, I think. So if we go to our Astro config, and I didn't really talk about this yet, but this is where we have our markdown configuration. I have this turned on. Look at that. I'm ahead of the game. And then let's see. That all looks good. Okay, so it would be, instead of like images, assets, images. Okay, but this is not an image. This is a CSS file, so it doesn't really matter. I don't think this is not going to make a difference for CSS. So for now, I'm just going to see. Sure if to actually make a recommendation for what's the best way to. Okay, so styles global.css. So we'll do that. And then this to reference styles. Global.css. Okay. So it looks like the way Ghost does it, they have an assets folder that then includes things like CSS. Okay, cool. Let's see. So, and then this is the other Astro page. Whoops. Let's see. We might have just consolidated them into one place, which is probably smart. Yeah, it's not on the connectors page anymore. Yeah, so this is the only one. Here we can see the connector code though. So I'm probably gonna have no idea what this is doing, but let's look at it anyway. Okay. So it's using Webpack, and then this is for your dependencies, figuring out your dependency mess. And then it has a default app that basically generates for you, which includes that. And that. So yeah, so it gives you like a very, very bare bones Astro project. And then here's Astro routes. So what this is doing is this is using our Edgeo routes. This is from Edgeo core. Okay, and then make sure that static assets are included and includes a fallback. Cool. Yeah, we can talk about this more later on, but I think right now this is probably a pretty good place to stop. So you can stop sharing my screen.
Done.
So yeah, so next steps will be basically, so I guess the larger question right now is, do we want just pure markdown, or do we want to have some sort of visual CMS like experience like Ghost has right now? Because there are open source things that can do that. I know some people who are actually building this. Like I have a buddy, Jim Fisk, who's been building this forever. He's building it with Svelte is the only issue. And I'm not sure I really want to bring Svelte into this project. So I guess this would be kind of a question for you. Would you feel comfortable writing Markdown if you wanted to create content, or would you rather be some sort of visual editor setup? And also, we can kind of think about this like one day we'll be gone and there'll need to be a visual thing for somebody probably.
I'm sure.
But like, do we want to figure that out first, or kick the can down the road basically and just stick with Markdown for now?
So thinking into the future, who knows how far, but I'm just thinking like you're right about probably someone needing to have a visual editing and all that available to them, because otherwise that may be the end of javascriptjam.com. Because nobody's going to take the time to like, because okay, just think about it like this. If say 4 years from now, whatever it is, I don't know, let's say you go do another thing, right? And so now JavaScript Jam is going to have to be handled by somebody else, right? So are you going to take the time to create that on your departure? Probably not. And they're probably not going to ask you to do it either. So it's like, do we think ahead of that now, so that JavaScriptJam.com can survive? I mean, obviously that maybe they'll, I don't know. I don't know what they would do. It would just be another huge project for someone else, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's
But
the more money you're willing to spend, the easier it is to solve. Because if
yeah,
there are services, and it's like, and then we kind of arrived somewhere back where we started. The difference being that we would be using a get back CMS most likely instead of something like Ghost, which is like a monolithic CMS. Because with Ghost, you are editing these template files
yep,
and then uploading that to Ghost. Whereas with this, we actually have a Git repo, and then we can connect that to. So the big ones that I know of are there's Cloud Cannon, and Cloud Cannon has actually like a specific, pretty in depth partnership now with Astro and has built out really in depth Astro stuff.
mm-hmm.
And it seems pretty cool. There's a couple really specific things you'd have to do to kind of get the content set up for it, which might impede the ability to just write Markdown simply. So that's my first kind of concern with it.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's also Tina CMS, which has been around for a while and is where actually James Perkins, who works at Clerks, he used to work there.
Yeah.
So they had some layoffs. So I'm not sure if where they're at right now, but they're still around. They haven't they haven't folded
Disappeared.
yet.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one. And then there's Plenty, and then there's other stuff that is just like open source things. So I'll probably play around with those more and kind of see what they're like.
Yeah, I know, but I also know that you prefer, and you're the one who's doing a lot of the JavaScriptJam.com stuff
Right,
now.
Exactly. So for the foreseeable future,
your preference is
I'm the only
Markdown.
one writing content, like
right,
full stop, and
right.
I can do it way faster, way more convenient, way more reproducibly with Markdown.
Yes.
So yeah,
I don't want to ruin your jive. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I just
but I don't want to have to just like leave this for someone else one day and they'd be like, oh my god, what do I do with this? So yeah, we'll see. So that will require a little more.
Maybe there's a best case, give and take.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. Maybe we'll have some updates on that next time we go.
Yeah. And it's also a good excuse to just interview a bunch of CMS companies.
Oh, let's do that. Yeah, totally. On JavaScript Jam. And
yeah, because I already know. I know the Storyblock folks, like Facundo,
yes,
and then I think Alex Trost is still at Prismic. So
yeah, we've had Facundo on like a million times. So honestly, I don't know. Maybe we can work a deal with one of them to where they just.
It's a good idea. If we get like a community
an
account or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, I know you have a meeting to get to, so
I do. But let me know what you want to do, and then we can work out a deal with somebody or chat it up with them or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Sweet. This was fun. All right.
So, are we gonna be able to do this next week, same time? I think so.
Yeah. Hold on. Get out of here. There we go.
I'm just gonna make this repeat 24th for now.
11. Is that what we're doing? Is that what we had? Yeah.
So let's do 1 actually.
Okay.
Is that cool with you?
Oh, not next week. Can't do it. I have an appointment. But
hold on. Oh yeah. All right. Well, we'll do this off camera.
Yep. Sounds good. All right. All right. We'll see y'all next time. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Hope you had some fun with us. And we'll maybe we'll put it out in the X world of what we're going to be doing next.
Oh yeah.
All right. Peace.
Later.